Everybody, it's Sabrina. Welcome back to my channel. I am excited to share this kind of mega project process video with you. I recently did a die cut video, how to make die cuts from digital stamps using Ali Edwards products, and I now want to show you how I'm going to use them specifically in projects. Now, I have done this kind of technique throughout my scrapbooking, and so if you watch any of my videos, you'll probably notice that there is probably a die cut made from a digital project, but I wanted to specifically show you how I use these die cuts that I made in that video. So I made Current Delights, and I'm going to use that on a 2-page project of my daughter. I also have this really fun Scrap and Happy Studio flare set. It's this spring one, and I want to use as many as possible. I don't know if I'll be able to use all 6, but I pulled them all out just to see if I could use them. Another simple page that I'm going to do is documenting a walk with my husband, but also just things about us right now currently. And I have picked out some flowers and right now. It's not a lot, but I'm just gonna pull other things from my stash. I have this other project, and it has to do with kind of micro stories. I know I mentioned this in a few other videos, but Ali Edwards talked about this concept in one of the story kits, and basically you just take a photo and a simple title or a journaling card and just document. Very simple and to the point scrapbooking. So the left side is going to be about gardening, and I have this 5 things die cut along with the right now. I just haven't decided which color. And then on the right side, I am going to talk about my workout, and I have some photos. The die cut I'm going to use here is Current Outlook and some more of the flowers, but in the pinks and the blues. So that is a total of 4 projects from my die cuts, and I am super excited to put together these projects and for you guys to just hang out and craft with me. So I hope you are excited to see all of these come together and see how versatile digital stamps can be, and I just love teaching you guys. So if you have any other suggestions for what you would like me to show you how I do, or any tutorials, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I would love that. All right, let's get started on putting these together. First up is this blue-green page about a Saturday. Yeah, it was Saturday, and I'm going to do 5 things from that day. I took this really cool photo, cool perspective. I was kind of getting ready for Week in the Life, so I was practicing, and I wound up taking a lot of photos on that Saturday, so that's why I knew the 5 things would work well. I'm also going to do the workout one that I told you about in the intro, and I'm just figuring out where I want my photos. I made them roughly the same size, but I'm just going to put the posed one on the right hand side, and I'll just tilt it a little bit because there is a shoe rack in the photo behind the main photo of me, so I can definitely use that space to kind of cover up that space with the second posed photo. Now on the left hand side, I'm obsessed with these vellum flowers from the digital story kit. Well, they're vellum in the physical kit, but in the digital, obviously you print them out in their paper or whatever you want them. So I decided to take all the blues and all the greens and frame my photo. And then on the other one, of course, like I said in the intro, I'm going to do the pinks and the blues. So I'm just going full out using all of these flowers. I don't think I'd cut these flowers in that how-to video, but it's the same process, just taking these flowers and putting them on a cut sheet and then cutting them out, and you're good to go. For these, I did not add the white stroke, which is basically adding a little bit of a background behind the particular digital stamp like I did for the 5 things. 5 things you'll notice has a white outline around it. That is called the white stroke. Another thing I really like to do to give my pieces a little bit more dimension is to fold up the top portion of the flower or leaf or whatever it is. That way, like I said, it looks a little bit more real and gives that dimension. So I decided on the blue right now, and I went ahead and pop dotted that. I then took my title and I glued it down. I decided not to pop dot it because it would be really complicated and lots of small pieces of foam, so I didn't want to do that. I did decide to grab a stamp that says Saturday and stamp right below it in green Saturday. I then added in some more stamping with this green stamp that I'm obsessed with, and I know I've talked about it a million times, but you guys, I can honestly say I went a little overboard with the stamping, and I kind of stamped in a few spots that I really didn't want to. Like, I'm going to wind up stamping Saturday and then a blue leaf next to it, but I should have turned the leaf so that way it was facing downwards. It's over by the Y. It would have been better if I'd done that, like turned it to face downwards. I also didn't like the green stamped leaf over by the S, so I covered that up with a die cut leaf instead. So sometimes you just get carried away with the stamping and it doesn't look balanced. It just looks kind of messy. So that's kind of what I was trying to fix. And I think I fixed it pretty well. Now I can go ahead and draw my lines, and I hope this doesn't bug you guys when you watch my videos, but I draw the lines and then I have to go back and draw a second set because I always wind up writing more than I thought. But anyway, so for the first thing that I wrote, I put looking at past week in the life albums, thankful for this project and doing it again. Number 2, I was forcing the kids to go on a walk on this particular day. Then number 3 is 2 awesome friends on Instagram let me know that Target had summer birds, which I love the birds. And number 4 is I finished up a project with a cut file that I absolutely loved. It had to do with my daughter and butterflies. And the 5th has to do with the photo and how I just decided to get this garden bed ready for some planting. And I didn't get my gloves. I just stuck my hands in the dirt and I tilled the dirt by hand and had a lot of fun cleaning out this planter bed and just taking a moment to enjoy the sunshine. I then stamped the date, which I'm trying to get better at doing that. I don't want to forget the date, but I did wind up forgetting the date on the right hand side, but I know it's only a few days later. So I'll go back and fix that. So for the main photo of myself, I wanted to tuck in a few photos like on the very edge of the project, and then I could add the other photo tilted. So again, I'm taking those die cuts and kind of framing in the photo with the die cuts. It's just not as much as the left-hand side. And then current outlook is going to go right on top of my photo and a little above. So I'm really happy with how the photos wound up and using that negative space where the shoe rack was. Because you don't really need a shoe rack in the photo. You really don't. I keep telling my family members, if they don't clean up their shoes, I am going to get rid of that shoe rack. So down at the bottom right corner, I stamped one little story of life right now. I'll also stamp a few other phrases in pink just to balance it out. Now the outfit I'm wearing is kind of purple-ish, but I did not want to add in purple in this layout just because my die cuts were pink and I wanted to stick with kind of the pink colors and not add in some purple. I took one of the flowers that it's almost like I don't know what it's called, like a gradient type of flower. It's the middle flower over by my photo on the left-hand side. But I took that photo, cut it, and then took the cut piece and put it underneath the second photo. So that way I get more mileage and more use out of that flower. And I also tucked another one, so it's like a cluster of 2 on the bottom of the photo and 2 up at the top. So above my title, I put just lovely, and for kind of the intro to the journaling, I'm going to stamp little stuff. And this stamp set is from the Stories of Play. I don't know if it's available anymore, but if it is, I will go ahead and link it. It also has a really tiny flower So I decided to stamp that in black to kind of give a little something extra for moving your eye around the project, and also because my title was black. So I wanted a little bit more neutral in my project. I'm going to draw in the lines or use my ruler to put down the lines, and then I will journal about working out and what my current outlook is for working out. I said, even in this busy season of life, I still make the time to move. It's kind of become essential to being my best self, especially because I juggle so much and obviously take care of my kids. And being in this season where I have the ability to focus on myself is amazing. And I continue to be thankful that I have this time. I'm also just so proud of myself for showing up no matter how hard it is, especially when kids are running around and, it's not easy working out with kids. But I'm proud of myself for showing up continuously, and working out has given me so much. All right, moving on to the next project where I decided to document my husband and I. Like I said in the intro, I want to document where we are at right now because we just kind of celebrated our wedding anniversary and how many years we've been together, which is 19. So I thought it would be fun to just document and jot down a few things about us right now, which is not something I've ever done. So I think that that's kind of a fun thing to include in my me album. I am going to stick with mainly monochromatic purple, but I do decide to add in a little bit of blue, just a little bit. But I forgot to add some blue over on the right-hand side. I should have stamped the blue flower on some paper and then fussy cut it out. Because as you can see here, I'm stamping a bunch of flowers on white paper because I'm going to add them to the large photo. But I forgot to do this for the blue flower. But not a big deal. It's still going to all come out to be a beautiful project. I did take a soft gray ink right here and stamp the middle of my flowers. I just did not stamp the die cut flowers. I don't know. I felt like I wanted a difference between the two flowers. So stamped flowers will have a stamped center, but the die cut flowers will not. And that is totally okay with me. I also marked the photo, that way I knew where I had to stamp for my two main clusters. And I do want to say, I love this photo, and I tried my best to remove the telephone wires, but I could not, and it would have taken a long time to edit. So that was kind of a bummer that those wires are right there, but what can you do? I also used another Right Now die cut and pop dotted it. I split a flower in half, that way I could use it in two different spots. I thought I might use it on the left side of the photo, but decided I wanted that cluster over on the main photo on the right hand side. So I'm going to save that piece and use it over there. I'm also going to make a small cluster on the bottom left of the page. And then just fussy cut out these flowers and add them kind of in a stack over on my photo. And I decided to not make the cluster right at the bottom. Since I have a bottom cluster on the left-hand side, I just raised it up a little bit. Just give it a little something different. And I'll add in the mix of the two different flowers and also the die cut. I'm going to put one more stamped flower up in the top left corner because I think I'm going to try stamping. You can see I have the stamped sentiment there, and I'm going to try it. I have the ink for it, but I always just worry that it's going to smear, and I don't know. Stamping on photos makes me nervous. Leave a comment if you are totally okay with stamping on photos, or if you're not and you're like me. But this time it turned out fantastic, and I used the sentiment "Love Blooming Together," which is awesome because we have bloomed together, right? Been together so long. I grabbed some sequins from my stash. They're Allie Edwards sequins, who knows from when, but I'm going to glue those down with my blue glue pen and then just add in my journaling lines to wrap up this spread. I did find some stickers or word phrase stickers to add in for a little pop of black. Loving this, XO, always, and choose love. So any chance I can use those word stickers, I'm going to use them. I am adding in the sequins and then I'll do the journaling. I thought I was going to do the journaling first and then the sequins, but I guess I'm doing sequins first. And again, I just use a glue pen, and for the most part, my glue pen works to keep them stuck to the page. And also these will go in a page protector. I don't know if I've mentioned it, but this is half binder size. So 5.5 by 8.5 inches. Just because it is cheaper to get these albums and page protectors. I get them on Amazon. It's linked in my Amazon shop. And my friend Erica, California Lucky, she introduced me to this. So this is the size that I'm doing because it's just cheaper to get the supplies. All right, so for the journaling, I put, we are currently making time to go on hikes and have time for us. We are navigating having a teenager and then a daughter who needs, some guidance with worries, and we're watching currently School Spirits, and we're continuing to work on communication and be thankful for our busy, messy, and wonderful life. So I'm going to put that in the binder that I have, the half binder. I think I got this one at Target. Okay, last project. I'm so excited. This one turned out really super cute, and I'm really happy with the mix of die cuts, flares, and stamping. So it was like a mix of all my favorites. I have this stamp from a long time ago, Ali Edwards, Stories by the Month, September, and it's a leaf, but I use it as grass more often than not. So I decided to make a grass border at the bottom with 3 different inks of green. And it's going to document planting the spearmint plant that my daughter got at a nursery. And it was the perfect way to kind of break up the afternoon because my daughter was having a horrible afternoon. She was just Miss Grumpy Pants. So it was really nice to take that moment and plant this spearmint. We planted it in a pot and then it got attacked by aphids. So we had to move it to the front porch where the cactus and succulents are. But it's okay. It's doing okay. We are going to make sure that this thing lives. I decided to go with kind of an up-down design. At first, I thought I was going to have the 2 photos in the middle be up, but I decided it looked better if I did the up-down. I also have all these different flower colors to use and a bunch of different flares. Now, the red one, I felt like I had to include that red one because of the red watering can, and also I changed the color of the 3 things. The April, I changed that. That way I had some red in my embellishments as well as my journaling card. So I'm just throwing in all the spring colors, and this is going to come out to be really vibrant and colorful and perfectly documents, a great spring story. A small spring story that really helped my daughter and I kind of shift the day. So I just grabbed the ruler to make sure that I aligned the photos because that's always a tricky part, at least for me, and now I'm going to do it for the April journaling card. Then comes the fun of building all the little different clusters because, like I said in my intro, I want to make sure that I can add a ton of flares. I think I picked out 6 and I was able to use 5. So I'm going to make it work. And the title I have is Current Delights, and I will just glue that right down the second photo, which is on the left. I also have Loving This, and that's just a little smaller. It's kind of a weird yellow color, and I'm not sure if it matches Current Delights, but it all coordinates and goes together. I also grabbed a few word phrase sticker sheets that go well with the colors. I found a pink and a yellow and a green that kind of works. I didn't have the perfect shade of green, but it works. And I only used 1. It says Imagine. I figured I like that and it works with what the theme is, and so I'll just use it. I also noticed that the Loving This needed some of the holes poked out of it, like it didn't cut very well. So I had to grab like a foam mat to poke out some of the holes and do some weeding. I think that's what it's called, weeding. And then I can go ahead and glue it down. And I'm going to use that cute little garden gnome. Oh my goodness, I had to use that. And behind it, I will put a green leaf and also a yellow leaf. Next comes kind of the tedious part of adding the double-sided adhesive tape to the back of the flares. I just do 2 pieces for each of the flares, and then I use my eyelet setter and the pokey portion to kind of peel off the tape and lift it up. And then, I don't know, you guys, I don't know what I was doing. I was doing something different than I normally do, which is I took my die cuts and adhered them to the flare and then put everything down. I don't know. I don't normally do that. Usually I glue the die cuts down and then put the flare down. I don't know. I was thinking that the die cuts will stick to the double-sided tape and then everything will stick down, but I don't know. I might have to go back and fix it because I was noticing that that technique wasn't quite working, and for some reason it was causing the flares to bow up a little bit. So I don't know. I'm going to go back and fix that later on. But I did not do that technique over on the left-hand side. So what I need to do basically is just glue down the die cuts and then put down the flare. So that's what I usually do, and I need to just stick with that. So over here in the top left-hand corner, I wanted to have those 2 flares, like I said, because I really wanted that pop of red over there. So what I did to break up the 2 flares is add in word phrase stickers. I chose a red, here we go, and then yellow, celebrating this season. And I just cut celebrating and then this season. I couldn't fit the whole thing there, so cut it. I have a watering can, which is pink, and then the other cute little flare I picked was a potted plant that's yellow, which went by the Current Delights yellow title. So lots of great flares, and I love Jenny's shop. I love it. She has such fun flares, and there's so many different options. So go check out her shop if you get a chance. It's been my favorite for many years. All right, so I'm fixing up the different clusters, and then I'm going to add another word phrase sticker to the right-hand side that says capture and also new beginnings. So on the journaling, I just talked about how this was a great redirection when we were both having kind of a rough afternoon. I said you were so excited to watch this mint grow and ready to take care of it. You're continuing to love nature in all the different ways, and I'm thankful that you and I got this few minutes to plant this mint plant, and it's definitely a much better mood once we got done with this. And here's a look at all of my projects. I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing all of these come together. I would love a thumbs up or a subscribe if you're new to my channel. Have a great day. Bye.